They thought they were untouchable. Now their fall has begun. Some people really believed they could do whatever they wanted and never face the consequences. And they thought they were too important to be touched, too rich to be questioned, too connected to be exposed, and too powerful to even fall. And they walked around like they were above everybody else, like ordinary people did not matter, like kindness was weakness, and like hurting others was just part of staying on top. But there is something they forgot. No one stays above truth forever. No one stays protected by lies forever. And no one gets to escape the weight of what they have done just because they had money, status, influence, or people around them clapping while they did wrong. There comes a point where the mask sleeps. There comes a point where the silence breaks. There comes a point where the same people who thought they were untouchable start realizing that the ground underneath them is no longer steady. What they built on pride starts cracking. What they built on fear starts shaking. And that is what so many people are witnessing right now. You may have looked at certain people before and thought, nobody's ever going to stop them. Nobody's ever going to hold them accountable. Nobody's ever going to expose what they have been doing. They seem too protected, too polished, too powerful, too far above everybody else. But appearance can be very deceiving. A person can look strong and still be rotten inside. A person can look successful and still be deeply corrupt. A person can be praised in public and still be doing damage in private. And that is why you should never confuse attention with purity. Never confuse popularity with goodness. Never confuse power with peace. Some people are not truly standing tall. They are only standing on top of the pain they cause other people. And sooner or later, that kind of life catches up with them. Some of these people became arrogant because life gave them access. Access to money, access to rooms, access to influence, access to platforms, access to people who were willing to protect them. And after a while, they started believing their own illusion. They started thinking they were bigger than everybody else, smarter than everybody else, untouchable. That is how pride works. It blinds people. It makes them forget that they are still human, still accountable, still subject to consequences, still living under laws deeper than the system they manipulated. And they may dodge people for a while, but they cannot dodge truth forever. They may silence victims for a while, but they cannot silence reality forever. They may fool the public for a while, but they cannot fool life forever. What is done in the darkness has a way of pushing its own way into the light. And the scary thing for them is this. Once the fall starts, it often happens fast. The same person who was celebrating yesterday is panicking today. The same person who was mocking others is now hiding. The same person who thought they had endless protection is suddenly looking around and realizing the protection is disappearing. And that is another hard truth. A lot of the people around them were never really loyal. They were only loyal to the position, loyal to the benefits, loyal to the money, loyal to the image, loyal to what they could gain. But now that the trouble is here, and now that the pressure is real, and now that exposure is rising, those fake friends are nowhere to be found. And honestly, some of them are not even sad. Some of them are secretly enjoying the downfall. Because when a person mistreats everybody, they should not be shocked when nobody feels safe standing with them in the end. If you use people, talk down to people, embarrass people, manipulate people, and make everybody feel small just so you can feel big, do not be surprised when your hard season arrives and the room goes quiet. A lot of these powerful people forgot something very important. The people they looked down on were the very people holding them up. The audience gave them the fame. The public gave them the attention. The supporters gave them the money. The workers gave them the results. The voters gave them the title. The ordinary people they dismissed with a reason they had a platform in the first place. That is what arrogance makes people forget. They start worshipping the top of the pyramid and forget that the pyramid stands because of what is underneath it. Remove the supporters, and the whole thing starts to fall. Remove the truth, and the image starts to break. Remove the public protection, and all the fake greatness suddenly looks very fragile. And that is why some people fall so hard. Not just because they did wrong, but because they became drunk on borrowed power. They thought the throne belonged to them forever, when really it was being held up by people they did not respect. There is also something else that happens when people get used to getting away with too much. They stop thinking clearly. They start crossing lines they should never cross. They get reckless. They get cruel. They get careless. And they believe there is no limits. They believe no one can touch them. They believe consequences are for other people. And that is usually when the turning point comes. Because life has a way of letting people reveal themselves fully before the fall. Sometimes people rise so high in their ego that they expose their own darkness. And they become so bold in their wrongdoing that they stop hiding it well. And they get so comfortable abusing power that they no longer realize how obvious it has become. And once that energy shifts, once the timing changes, once the truth begins to move, everything they thought was secure starts working against them. Their words come back, their actions come back, Their choices come back. Their treatment of others comes back. Nothing is lost. Energy travels. And what people send out has a way of finding the road back. That is why you should never envy people who seem to be winning through wickedness. A lot of what looks like success is not peace. A lot of what looks like power is not freedom. A lot of what looks glamorous from a distance is full of fear behind closed doors. Some of these people cannot sleep. Some of them are constantly looking over their shoulder. Some of them are terrified of being exposed. Some of them know exactly what they have done and are just waiting for the day it all catches up. And for many of them, that day has already started. You can feel it when an era ends. You can feel it when a person falls, rains begin to crack. You can feel it when the energy changes and the person who once dominated through fear starts losing their grip. It does not always happen in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it happens layer by layer. First, the image weakens. Then the support weakens. Then the confidence weakens. Then the secret starts leaking. Then the pressure builds. Then the consequences arrive. Then the person who acted invisible starts looking very human. And that is when a lot of people realize something they should have known from the beginning. No title makes you above the law of cause and effect. No fame makes you morally untouchable. No amount of money turns wrong into right. No circle of powerful friends can permanently shield you from what you created. At some point, everybody meets the energy they have been sending out. So if you have been one of the people who suffered under someone else's pride, manipulation, cruelty, or abuse of power, hear this clearly. Their behavior was never proof that they were greater than you. It was proof that they were disconnected from themselves. Truly, powerful people do not need to humiliate others. Truly, secure people do not need to dominate anybody. Truly, wise people do not need to crush people beneath them to feel important. The people who do that are not powerful in the deepest sense. They are wounded. They are empty. They are addicted to control because something inside them is weak. And eventually, that inner weakness begins to show on the outside. So do not lose yourself trying to understand why certain people were allowed to rise while doing wrong. Do not think their moment means they won. Do not think their season of arrogance means they are blessed. A life is bigger than what is visible right now. Truth takes its time. But when it moves with weight. And that is why your job is not to become like them. Your job is not to lie like they lied. Your job is not to hurt people because hurt people hurt you. Your job is not to worship power and become bitter. Your job is to stay rooted, stay honest, stay aware, Stay soft where you need to be soft and strong where you need to be strong. Protect your peace. Yes. Set boundaries. Yes. Walk away when needed. Yes. But do not let darkness train you to become darkness too. But in the end, light does not win by copying darkness. Light wins by remaining light. And that matters. It matters that you chose integrity when manipulation looks easier. It matters that you chose compassion when cruelty looks powerful. It matters that you chose truth when performance looks profitable. It matters that you kept your soul clean in a world where so many people are losing themselves just to look important. Some people are falling right now because the weight of what they did has become too heavy to carry any longer. Some are being exposed. Some are being humbled. Some are losing the very thing they thought made them untouchable. And some who still seem protected are only on borrowed time. Nothing lasts forever, especially false power. So let this be a reminder. Do good because it matters. Treat people well because it matters. Do not abuse the little power you have. Do not worship people just because they look successful. And do not be fooled by temporary thrones. The truth is stronger than image. Character is stronger than status. And what is built on darkness always has an expiry date. At that time is not endless. Their reign is not permanent. And no matter how untouchable they seemed, life has a way of reminding everyone that nobody is above consequences of what they have done.